Greetings, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. I don't sound like myself. For those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath. I have a head cold. So, for your listening enjoyment, I would go to the settings and speed this up if you don't want to hear head cold sounds. I will try to minimize it, as this won't be a long one. Your angels want you to know and want you to be validated for some of you, and this will just be for a select few. This isn't everybody's situation. But I'm having a lot of upper respiratory, so you're gonna hear wheezing and all that stuff. Just heads up, guys. Um, but what they want you to know is that they, whoever the they is in your life, were listening to everybody else instead of coming to talk to you. I couldn't flesh out the full title until I upload it. They were listening to everybody else instead of coming to talk to you. There are times in our life where we have friendships with people where things can be cleared up with a conversation. I am huge, huge, huge on communication. Can you tell? I talk a lot, and it is my primary love language, words of affirmation. So it's something that I practice. It's also something in my chart that aligns with various signage in my astrology chart. Communication is my forte. And so I pride myself on keeping lines of communication open in relationships and making it a safe space for people to say all the things they want to. I like that. I don't like that. You've crossed a boundary. I agree with you. It's too much. I'm uncomfortable. It doesn't matter how much I love you or how much I'm in friction with you. I will make room to hear you. One of the quotes that comes to mind is Zig Ziglar. First, seek to be, first seek to understand, meaning understand someone else. And then he says, then seek to be understood. So first seek to understand and then to be understood. And that's the motto that I truly live by. But there are people in your life that didn't mean you good, that didn't live by that whatsoever. They didn't give you an opportunity to clarify anything. They allowed people that were new, people that were fresh, people that were just in closest proximity to them to talk about you in a way that was disparaging, and they let it get into their head. These people are weak, and that is something that needs to be said. Followers, easily blown in the wind like a leaf. And you will have people like that in your life while you've been 10 toes down, you know, keeping your feet to the street, to the beat, to the ground, holding them all the way down. Most of you here are listening were completely 1000% loyal. And even if a few of you wavered in any fact, you held somebody up and you had their back. You were in the trenches with them in whatever capacity. But as soon as they saw an opportunity to flee because of weakness, because of jealousy, you name it, then they absconded with the enemy, the opposition. The kids call them the ops nowadays, but the opposition is a dangerous game with whom they wanted to play. When someone links up with your opposition, they're no longer your friend. They're not even your foe. They are somebody, y'all know what I'm going to say, that you no longer know. You cut them out. You cut them out like a cancer. You cut them out decidedly. You cut them out expeditiously. You cut them out violently. You cut them out expertly. When I say violent, I don't mean actually. I'm speaking figuratively, but without mercy. I'm speaking merciless. Cut them out. Queen of Swords shit. If you're reading tarot, King of Swords. If you really want to know, then you know if you want to balance those two energies, you cut them out and you set yourself free. There are people in my life that did that, and I relate to you. But tonight, I'm not dealing with that situation. So this message is for you, but I can only teach you from what I know and from what I have gone through. When that happened to me, I assessed it. I stood back and I blessed it. Okay, hear me when I say that. I bless them. We learn from the figurehead, the Father, for me specifically. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. They want to be my enemy. I would not want to be in their shoes because, see, what I know, empath, what I know, a light worker, what I know, earth angel, is that you come with an arsenal of angels and ancestors that stand behind you. And I know that because they stood behind me too. So in that moment, I said, wow, I thought of, I even have a video up here that I did with Jay Z and Movado where I recounted the song because when I was going into spiritual warfare all along, so many years ago, it was a song that I played over. I'm on the rock, and there's a line in there where Jay Z says, "Lord Jesus, please be my savior. Lord knows I got a whole lot of haters, but dust them off. I what? I dust them off." And he says, "If you want to really test me, I'm going to come across your chest like Catholics. It's a triple entendre. I won't get into all of it, but the part of that is when we do the sign of the cross. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. I cross myself not just for me, but for her, for them too. They wanted to be enemies. They wanted to not be a friend of me. The thing about it is the enemy of my enemy, what do they say, is my friend. So I knew that what I was getting offered was a chance to begin again. Begin again. It was very West Indian for me. I could see the destiny. But what I did know is that if that person could press and be tested so easily, that person was never for me. No apology she could ever render, nothing she could ever say could ever let me allow a Judas to once again come my way. Yes, you ask God to forgive your Judas, but you don't let them back in to do it again because they will. Because Judas is bloodthirsty. And Judas doesn't really ever learn. That person likes to run their head into brick walls over and over again, being absurd, making mistakes. Well, now everyone knows the mistakes that they make. That's because that was part of their destiny when they decided they wanted me as an enemy. The same is true for you, empath. There are people that could have talked to you with a simple conversation, and instead of getting things popping and having to submit contracts to the United Nations, they could have just said, "Hey, you're my friend. I've known you for this long. You have had my back all along. You have been honest with me even when it's hard. Do you think that we can talk? Or can I say this thing to you even though it may not leave us in a place where I want to be or that you want to know?" Some conversations aren't easy, especially when you love someone, but the easy way out never leads you to the place you really want to be. Some people do want to get out and they will create smoke bombs, if you will, distractions so that they can escape and they can do things and finally happily reveal that they're fake. Maybe they're tired of wearing a mask. You, empath, have to ask yourself, which type of person are you dealing with? Either way, it's a wolf spirit, a trickster, a fox spirit. It may not be Mrs. or Mr. It may not be your bestie. It may be your XD. It may not be your family, kin and blood and water and all of that about thickness. You decide. If they will tan your hide along with the opposition, do you want to keep them in position to win with you, to be blessed with you, to ascend with you? That is not a thing you may want to do. Some of you guys had people around you that could have just easily solved a problem with an honest conversation, one you were willing to have, but they allowed people that they didn't know that actually wished them bad. Come on, angels with a word. People that were jealous of what they had, people that wished them bad, people that wanted to see them down bad, people that wanted to take them off their high horse. They thought it was you that they were gunning for, but actually, their opposition, the opposition that they linked up with, was their real enemy and put them exactly in the place that they wanted to see you empath. They wanted to see you 6 feet under. And so angels and ancestors stepped in and cast them asunder. Yes, a simple communication would have been nice, but since they chose differently, they now pay the price, and you reap the rewards. In that song, Jay-Z says, "If it's me against the bear, pray for the bear." I once was going to run a house with a guy that was really predatory lender. It was the first time I ever came across a real life shark. And he was like, not sure. You know, I was in my early 20s. My credit wasn't all the way right. And he was like, "I will send people to your house in the night. I have bears working for me." It was funny that he said bears. Usually people say wolves or some other canine. He said bears because he wanted me to get the picture. He said, I will send someone to you if you default or if you do whatever. Fortunately, I found another place. I didn't have to go that way, but I did not take his threats lightly. A bear is a formidable opponent. So when JC says, "If it's against me and the bear, pray for the bear," that's saying a lot. There are bears in your life that wanted to do you not right. Now, the bear totem can be powerful, it can be motherly, it can be about hibernation, It can be about grace and power in so many ways. But they wanted to come at you like rabid bears and wanted to eat your face. Pray for the bear. I prayed for my bears. And now they are in despair. When all it would have taken was a conversation to clear the air, they chose differently. And for them, that's the way it had to be. All I know is, get thee behind me, Satan. Never again around me. I speak the same for you. It was an easy thing to do, and they chose not to do it. The betrayal of that washes over you. I know it. I felt it. I was disappointed, to say the least. But in the end, it has been nothing but the greatest relief to have someone who so easily folds never be around me. Empaths, we are loyal to a fault. We give the best of our heart. We dedicate our lives to bettering people. We are in service consistently. Do you deserve somebody who knew someone for a couple minutes and you knew someone for decades and they chose easily, but it wasn't you? Is that a person that you want to dedicate the rest of your life to? You see, it's real quiet for me now. I don't feel the pain. I don't feel the remorse. I don't feel the loss. I feel grace, the grace of God that He shone on me to let me see who the demons were that encamped around me. Sometimes seeing your demons is a blessing. Pray for the bears. I love you guys. Come back and join me next time, and we'll continue to evolve together.